بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه. If I was to ask a question, what have you benefited from Ramadan? What have I benefited from Ramadan? What have we benefited from Ramadan? What did Ramadan come to do to us? And a very simple answer is to make us better people. Almighty Allah mentioned that fasting is in order to attain piety. Piety is being righteous. Righteous is doing the right thing, is being right in whatever we do. So, if Ramadan came around and it made you a better person, it softened your heart, it made you closer to Allah, it brought your family together, it made you remember the poor and needy, it allowed you to encounter the Holy Quran and to recite it better, to understand the message of Allah, to heed to the message, to follow the message, and to refrain from ill talk and wrongdoing. Basically, Ramadan came to introduce discipline to our lives. We become better people because we introduced discipline. And the question is this: what are we going to do after Ramadan? Can we maintain that standard? Can we maintain that position that we have elevated ourselves to? Or are we going to go back to the lower standards? Successful people always want to be promoted, and they want to retain the position that they have been promoted to. You have promoted yourself. Allah supported you in that promotion. Now it is your duty to go and sustain that position and make sure you don't fall back. So, it is a challenge. It's going to be difficult. It will not be easy. Temptations are going to be many. Distractions are going to be many. And the question is, what ought you to do? What can you do to ensure you maintain that position? Here I'm going to suggest a few things you can do. First and foremost, the Prophet of Islam said, أحب الأعمال إلى الله أدومها وإن قل. أحب الأعمال إلى الله أدومها وإن قل. The best of deeds to Allah are the ones that are sustainable, small as they may be. Identify 1 to 3, maybe to 5 acts that you can do after Ramadan to maintain that standard that you have. You could say, for example, I am going to discipline myself after Ramadan to read one part of the Quran every day. You could say that after Ramadan, I'm going to make sure that I observe the 5 daily prayers in congregation in the mosque. You could say, I'm going to discipline myself after Ramadan to either daily or weekly give something in charity. Whether it is wealth, whether it is a kind word, whether it is time, whether it is energy, whatever you can to go and support the community, to support other people. You could say, after Ramadan, I'm going to make sure that I'm going to be productive at work. I'm going to make sure that I respect time, I'm punctual on time. I'm going to have my priorities right. Or you could say, I'm going now to show more respect to my parents, my spouse, my family, my children, my community. Whatever it is that you're going to change, that you think you need to change, that you think by changing will make you a better person, please make a list of that and begin to practice in smaller quantities and make sure you maintain that. And don't forget about eating as well. After Ramadan, don't go back to indulge in a lot of eating. All bad behaviors and bad habits that you got rid of in the month of Ramadan, make sure you do not recess and go back to those qualities. Make sure you maintain the standard. Do not relapse back to those situations and those habits or activities or behaviors. That is one thing you need to do. Make sure you make a list and you sustain that throughout the month of Ramadan. Number 2, a few acts in the month of Ramadan that we are doing, make sure you continue with them after Ramadan. One of them could be fasting 3 days a month or fasting 2 days a week. You can choose. maintaining that fast will rekindle, will reintroduce that spirit of Ramadan. So make sure you have that on your list. The third thing, in the month of Ramadan, you got in the habit of staying up at night and offering those prayers. Make sure after Ramadan, you at least wake up at night and offer at least 2 rakat. It takes no more than 5 minutes or 10 minutes. But be in that habit and make sure you maintain the spirit of Ramadan, you maintain the mood of Ramadan, you maintain that activities of Ramadan, and you maintain the benefits of Ramadan well beyond Ramadan. I wish you all the best in disciplining yourself to do what is right and to refrain from what is wrong. All the best.